Pakistan is not a poor country, but it is a poorly managed country, said by a businessman of Pakistan. Muhammad Ali Jinnah, who was the founding father of Pakistan, said in his speech in 1948 that, "Do not forget that the armed forces are the servants of the people. You do not make national policy. It is we, the civilians, who decide these issues, and it is your duty to carry out these tasks with which you are entrusted." Which means Muhammad Ali Jinnah clearly sent a message to the armed forces to stay away from the civil administration, but Pakistani army has done exact opposite. In other countries, the military serves to protect the country's sovereignty, defend its border, and maintain internal security and stability. And the military may also be called upon to provide humanitarian assistance and disaster relief, as well as support peacekeeping operation and international security efforts, protect the nation from external and internal threats. But Pakistan military play a role in managing business, managing election and politics, managing land, labor, and capital. They manage national policy, they involve in infrastructure project, and they also involve in manufacturing to marketing. They are managing everything except managing their borders of Pakistan, because India, Iran, and Afghanistan oftenly do surgical strike inside Pakistan. Not only this, India humiliated Pakistan military when India surrendered Pakistan military during Bangladesh Liberation War of 1971 and broke Pakistan into two pieces. Basically, Pakistani army forced the Pakistani citizens in the name of India and told them that only the Pakistani army can protect them from Indian threats. But the reality is that they lost all the war against India since starting. So it is truly sad that every nation has a military, but Pakistan military has a nation. Before independence, Pakistan was a part of India. Under the British, Pakistan was mostly divided into the Sindh province, Punjab province, Balochistan agency, and Northwest Frontier province. There were various princely states, of which the largest was Bahawalpur, and Sindh was the part of Bombay Presidency. In 1947, British India was partitioned, ending the 300 years of colonial rule with the creation of two independent nations, Pakistan and India. Pakistan was comprised of West Pakistan and East Pakistan till 1971. In 1971, East Pakistan liberated from West Pakistan with the help of India and became Bangladesh as a new nation. India partition caused the greatest mass movement of humanity in history. Around 12 million refugees moved across new national borders drawn up by the British barrister Sir Cyril Ratcliffe. Crudely, this was a division based upon religious affiliation, with the creation of a Muslim majority in West and East Pakistan and a Hindu majority in India. Between 5 lakh to 20 lakh lives have been suffered as a result of the ensuring of upheaval and violence. Around 80,000 women were abducted. Pakistan and India have since fought 3 wars over disputed boundaries in Kashmir in 1947, 1965 and 1999. Muhammad acted as a single state following independence, leading all parties to agree instead to the independence of a predominantly Hindu India and for a Muslim majority state of Pakistan. Muhammad Ali Jinnah became into existence in August 1947, but till 1973 Pakistan had not adopted its constitution. Pakistan made its first constitution in 1956. It was abrogated and a new constitution was made in 1962. The third constitution was made in 1973, which is currently in force. The member of Constitution Assembly could not get agreed with a single proposals, and a controversy generated among the members. Most Muslim leaders were aristocrats and feudal lords. There were many reasons behind this, like there were refugee problems, canal water disputes, India's denial to give Pakistan's share of financial and military assets, death of Quaid-e-Azam Jinnah, and Kashmir war, and many more. Lack of constitution and proper law, Pakistan military took the advantage out of it and started intervening in civil administration in Pakistan. There have been multiple times when the Pakistan military has overthrown a civilian government in the country. It may be noted that in its 75 years of its existence, not a single Prime Minister of Pakistan has ever completed their full 5-year term. From assassinations to forced removal by the army, there have been multiple upheavals in the country's government. In 1958, Pakistan saw its first military coup when General Ayub Khan seized the position from President Iskandar Mirza, who had earlier abrogated the constitution and appointed the former Chief Marshal Law law administrator. Mirza, meanwhile, was exiled. Officially, this martial law was lasted for 44 months. Ayub Khan left office in 1969 after appointing General Yahya Khan as his successor. Yahya Khan held on the position till 1971 when he resigned after having lost the 1971 war to India, and the presidency of Pakistan was handed over to Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. In 1973, after the constitution was passed under a special arrangement, Bhutto took up the position of Prime Minister and stepped down as president. He won the elections in March 1977 again, but he was overthrown by General Ziaul Haq in July same year. General Ziaul Haq also went on to place Bhutto under house arrest. General Ziaul Haq imposed martial law across Pakistan and dissolved national assemblies and all provincial assemblies and suspended the constitution. This was the second time that Pakistan has seen another military coup. He postponed the elections indefinitely and banned political parties. In 1985, General Ziaul Haq held the long-promised election and invited Mohammad Khan Junejo to form government as the country's new prime minister, while he himself was sworn in as president for 5-year terms in March. However, by 1988, relation of Mohammad Khan Junejo with General Ziaul Haq had got soured. Junejo was removed from power on the ground of a breakdown in law and order. Ziaul Haq himself continued as president till 1988 when he died in a plane crash. In 1997, Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif returned for his second non-consecutive terms after winning a mandate in 1997 elections, but he remained in power only for under 3 years as Army Chief General Pervez Musharraf conducted a military coup in October 1999, which was the third time that Pakistan has seen military coup in Pakistan. How Pakistan Army manipulate election? No matter who wins the election in Pakistan, the Pakistan Army will rule the roost. On Tuesday, January 30, 1962, Hussain Shahin Suhrawardy, a former Prime Minister of Pakistan, was arrested from his Karachi residence on ambiguous charges of anti-state activities under the Security of Pakistan Act. His real crime, however, was opposing General Ayub Khan's martial law regime, and 62 years later, on the same day, another Prime Minister Imran Khan was sentenced to a 10-year jail term on a flimsy charges of leaking state secrets by making a diplomatic cable or cipher public. Imran Khan was barred from election last year and remained imprisoned after a conviction on corruption charges. But here, Suhrawardy was an intellectual and political giant who stood firmly for parliamentary democracy, a pluralist nation state, and refused to endorse military rule. And on the other side, Imran Khan is an authoritarian demagogue who was handpicked, groomed, installed into the high office and sustained till there by army till they fell out. Now we will talk about that why Pakistan military interfered in politics. The first reason is that Pakistan spends around 17.5% of its total expenditure on its military, but none of the neighbors of Pakistan has ever attacked Pakistan. Even with India, Pakistani diplomacy can neutralize threats posed by India by having good relations with India, but Pakistan army has created an artificial threat of India, and they need to have to some stakes in political so that no civilian government dare to slash its defense spending. And the second reason is that at the time of partition of India, Pakistan's share in revenue and population was around 17 to 20% but received 1/3 of the army. Since that day, army has interfered in politics to keep its disproportionate size. The third reason is that Pakistan army runs the biggest business group in Pakistan through its charitable trust called Fauji Foundation. This conglomerates company which is active in fertilizer, cement, food, power generation, gas exploration, LPG marketing and distribution, financial services and security services, and it's natural for such big business houses to have influence in politics. The fourth reason is that it has become a habit of army general to interfere in politics and install governments they see as their duty to politically stabilize the country, even though they actually destabilize the country. The fifth reason is that the politicians have failed to live up to their expectation. They have not run the country as per the expectation of public, and as Pakistani Pakistani army remains the only credible institution for a big section of Pakistani citizens. The sixth reason is that due to its influential role in politics, many foreign powers from America to Saudi Arabia to China wants to deal with army. This gives more credibility to the army's role in politics. The seventh reason is that Pakistan military personnel have their personal interests by sending their family abroad, and to fulfill their family expenditure in abroad, interference in politics is very necessary so that they can make money. It is often said that other countries need an army for its security, but the Pakistani army needs a country for maintaining their privilege and position. The current system in Pakistan, where military could maintain its influence and power within the nations without having the finger pointed at them. In current time, Pakistan has a hybrid system or a flawed democracy. As the name says, the Pakistan is a democratic nation, at least on paper. But behind the democratic front, the military establishment maintains a great deal of power and influence. The military establishment takes none of the blame while maintaining its influence from the shadows. The ruling party and prime minister are blamed for everything that goes wrong. When the party and prime minister becomes too unpopular, they can be replaced by a new one. Now we will talk about the criticism of Pakistan establishment. The Pakistan armed forces have been criticized for eroding democratic process in Pakistan, for being the largest business conglomeration in the country, and for excessive control over the domestic and foreign policies of Pakistan. The story of Pakistan is like the story of Titanic. The Titanic sank in the North Atlantic Ocean nearly 112 years ago on April 15 in the year 1912. The largest and the most luxurious ship in the world, the Titanic was also one of the most technologically advanced in its time. The ship had 16 watertight compartments designed to keep it afloat if damaged. This led to believe that the ship was unsinkable. However, only 4 days of maiden voyage, the Titanic struck an iceberg near Newfoundland, Canada. The collision damaged the ship and its watertight compartments. With a limited number of lifeboats, many passengers could not escape the ship. Only hours after the collision, the Titanic sank, taking about 1500 passengers with her. The Titanic analogy fits Pakistan perfectly well. Her trajectory since the inception of the idea, her creation and subsequent systematic failure thereon fit in the analogy perfectly well. The self-destructive domestic and foreign policies, institutionalized corruption have done irreversibly damage. This has slowly eaten away the pillars that support any nation. Bureaucracy, military, judiciary and the media are heavily corrupted places in Pakistan. The world is witnessing the sinking of the Titanic in slow motion. The establishment, which is the Pakistan military, runs Pakistan's largest business conglomeration with more than 50 business entities worth over 20 billion US dollar. It has been owned through Army Welfare Trust, Defense Housing Authority, Fauji Foundation and Shaheen Foundation. The establishment runs Pakistan's largest business empire, ranging from petrol pumps to huge industrial plants, banks, bakeries, schools and universities, hosiery factories, milk dairies, stud farms and cement plants, as well as 8 jewels in their crown. Defense Housing Authority township on Pakistan land across Pakistan, in which awards military personnel farmlands and housing plots. The establishment has control over foreign domestic policies of Islamization Pakistan. The Pakistani establishment taught their children right from the beginning that their state was built on the basis of religion. That's why they don't have tolerance for other religion and want to wipe out all of them. The core principles or the values of the establishments are the policy of treating India as an arch rival and existential threat, the Kashmir liberation from Hindus, Islamization of Pakistan, Punjab as the heartland of Pakistan, strategic use of non-state militants and other Islamic states as Pakistan's natural allies. After the Indo-Pakistan War of 1965, countless lessons and chapters were introduced in Pakistan's schools that spread hatred among the students and portrayed India as the biggest enemy of the Muslims. By propagating concepts such as jihad, the inferiority of non-Muslims, India's perceived ingrained enmity with Pakistan. The establishment, that is the Pakistan Armed Forces, is allegedly responsible for the thousands of kidnapping and disappearances, forced appearances, extrajudicial killings and target killings of people which the establishment considered enemy of the state through direct involvement of military. And ISI in these activities. Without any judicial due process, the establishment in Pakistan is responsible for the ongoing forced disappearances in Pakistan in a form of kidnapping, torturing, and extrajudicial killings its own citizens. Shariaization of Pakistan as primary policy of Pakistan, which was initiated and implemented by the governments of military dictator General Ziaul Haq. Despite the partition of India and resulting creation of Pakistan based on the concept of separate Islamic nation for the self-determination of Muslims, Constitution of Pakistan designated Islam as its state religion. Teaching of Quran and Islamiyat is compulsory. Only Muslims can become Prime Minister of Pakistan. Non-Muslims have not been raised to the highest level in the government. In Pakistan, the establishment also engages in institutionalized persecution of minorities in Pakistan, especially Ahmadiyyas, Shias, and Hazara after the Islamization of Pakistan. Pakistan is known for widespread discrimination against religious minorities, like with attack against Christian, Hindu, Ahmadiyya, Shia, Sufi, and Sikh communities being widespread. The rise of establishment in Pakistan-backed Taliban in Pakistan has been an influential and increasing factor in the persecution of and discrimination against religious minorities in Pakistan, such as Hindus, Christians, Sikhs, and other communities. And the next reason, that is bleed India with 1,000 Kurds, is a military doctrine followed by Pakistani establishment against India. It consists of waging covert war against India using insurgents at multiple locations. A 1,000-year war against India declared by Zulfikar Ali Bhutto in 1965 in his speech to the United Nations Security Council. Pakistan Army Chief General Ziaul Haq was the mastermind behind this declaration, and because of this doctrine, they attempt to frame the Punjab insurgency and Kashmir insurgency using India's western border with Pakistan. A 1,000 years war with the bleeding India through a 1,000 Kurds doctrine, they do covert and low intensity warfare with militancy and infiltration. The next reason is that Pakistan promote a policy of state sponsorship of terrorism. Ajmal Kasab, a Pakistani member of Pakistan-based global banned terrorist organization Lashkar-e-Toiba, which operates several terrorist training camps in Pakistan-administered Kashmir, launched 2008 Mumbai terrorist attacks. The next reason is that the United States country reports on terrorism describe Pakistan as a terrorist safe haven where terrorists are able to organize, plan, raise funds, communicate, recruit, train, transit, and operate in relative security because of inadequate governance capacity and political will, or both. The belief that has been created in the mind of Pakistan is that this country, that is Pakistan, was considered to be a creation of Allah, all in the name of Kalma, that is a land of purity. The overwhelming majority in Pakistan has already believed in this and considered this as a divine guarantee for protection by all the mighty. In other words, it is an unsinkable Pakistan. While it took 4 days of sailing for the Titanic to hit an iceberg in an accident, Pakistan on the other hand chose to deliberately collide with an iceberg called Kashmir on the eve of her creation itself. That was the beginning of an end to be. Pakistan Army was never allowed the country to develop democratically. The strengthening of institutions was always considered threatening by the establishments. A country with strong democratic values will work in favor of its people. There will be transparency and accountability, and this will create insecurity within the establishment. To understand the present situation that Pakistan is in, we need to look upon their early history post-creation. From the first military dictator of Pakistan, that is General Ayub Khan, right up to those at the helm of affairs to date. Since the beginning, Pakistan has capitalized upon its unique geopolitical locations. In the bargain, they have extracted billions of US dollars from the West in form of aid and military program. Easy money without any growth engine created an artificial growth. Lack of vision and concern resulted in Pakistan no industry, no trade, and no investment mechanism to develop in the country. The money came easy, and Pakistan sold anything to everything from ideology to terrorism, and in return, it became ever ready to be the West geopolitical tool. With such establishment, centralization of governance and weak federalism has led to sub-national movements. With the weakening of the economy, these trends are manifesting more forcibly than even before. Balochistan has seen the hardening of the armed freedom struggle. Pashto nationalism is also on the rise, yielding space to the radical outfits, the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan and JAS. The voices of dissent being heard from Gilgit-Baltistan, Pak-occupied Kashmir, and Sindh are getting louder day by day. In Punjab, the hallowed Pakistan Army is under severe criticism. The cases of corruption of Pakistan generals, especially the exponential rise of wealth of their Chief of Army Staff, General Qamar Javed Bajwa, since he took over as chief. Massive corruption by Pakistan army generals, overlooking Chinese investment in China-Pakistan economic corridor and many more have resulted in the erosion of faith of the common citizen in the army. Presently, the nation is in political chaos led by Imran Khan. On the other hand, Pakistan military is struggling to keep its stock together under the prevailing economic hardship. The Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan is challenging the state more and more with each passing day. The Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, by striking the police headquarters in Karachi, has the underlying reach and capability to strike at will. The country is heading towards bankruptcy. Today, Pakistan is on the verge of economic collapse, and this has happened. And this has not happened by any accident, but this is a result of wrong and deliberate policy choices. Pakistan has plunged into crisis due to critically low level of foreign reserves, runaway inflation, and lower economic growth. Over the past 25 years, Pakistan debt has been doubling roughly every 5 years. In 2013, the debt has risen to 16.3 trillion PKR, and in 2022, it had risen to 62.5 trillion. The major factor of this current economic crisis is that overspending on defense, jihad, terrorism as state policy, lopsided trade with China, and population explosion. Today, the morale of Pakistan army is at its lowest point, probably the lowest since their defeat in 1971 war. It has been reported in the media that the scale of rations for the troops are being reduced due to cash crunch. The pressure from the IMF to scale down the defense budget and spending poses a serious challenges to the Pakistan army's idea of Pakistan. The weakening of Pakistan's Kashmir policy and returning of normalcy in Valley amidst report of India planning to reduce troops in Kashmir. Troops in Kashmir has created sleepless night in Rawalpindi. The quest for Kashmir appears lost for the idea of Pakistan. The loss of Kashmir is an ultimate defeat of the Pakistan army. The fist hold has begun to loosen as a Titanic sinks.